Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Kathy, and I did this video twice last night, and there was a problem, and then I realized that I had no memory left in my phone. So anyway, I've cleared out the memory. I'm going to try this again. Third time's the charm. So now yesterday I put out a video last night about September 2nd, and September 2nd was the day that Eric called adult protection because Betty didn't show up to sign papers and go with him. So he asked adult protection to come down to the house and tell Betty, in his words, that everything is bullshit. And the adult protection agreed to come down and do so. So the adult protection came. Supposedly they, presented Eric with a stack of legal papers that he and they suggested that Eric should take guardianship of the Whitakers. Anyway, so that was that day. I just did the video on last night. So this is later in the evening of that same September 2nd. As you can see, I will pull the date up on this. This was September 2nd, this is later that evening after the whole, after adult protection came rushing out and Eric was going to pay for their gas and buy him lunch. Anyway, so this is later that night. And now this is when everything is just unrolling. We didn't hear anything. We didn't know there was a problem with BJ like as of yesterday or 2 days ago. So let's see what's leading up to this September 2nd day, because this came out of nowhere. And I'm going to show you in this video that it didn't start really out as they should come over for abuse. This started, Eric rolled this out a little bit gentler than that. And he first said this is because they need guardianship in case something happens to Larry and Betty. But somehow it's an emergency. Now, mind you, this is Tuesday the 2nd. And on the 6th, just 4 short days from now, Eric is supposed to be taking Timmy back home with him to Georgia. So he's pressing for these Social Security cards, birth certificates, and guardianship papers, because he knows time is short. He's supposed to leave with Timmy on Saturday. So I'm going to show you real quick what led up to this September 2nd event. Because as far as the viewers saw from our end, everything was fine. He was buying Timmy shoes and bringing him to the Airbnb, and they went to IHOP. Timmy's reading books. Everything's wonderful. This is what they're showing us. Now, what Eric's not telling you, that he's been secretly doing something with BJ behind the scenes. And we didn't hear anything about this until that faithful day when he rushes back from Georgia after being home less than 24 hours. And that's this day. As you can see, everything appears to be normal. Look at them. They're going to the movies for the first time ever. Then Eric appears to be home. Now, I say appears because it looks like he's in his podcast at home, but I noticed sometimes it's a green screen. You can see around the edges here. So I'm not sure if he's home or not. Maybe he is, but he says he's home for not even a day, and he's got to rush back because suddenly, first time ever we're going to hear about BJ's arrest. And this is a month after it's happened, and this is, 3 weeks at least after it's happened. Eric's not telling us that he's been talking to BJ since at least August 1st. And this is the end of August. So, as you can see, just overnight from everything good. In fact, in this particular podcast, he's telling people that anything that has to, if anybody makes bad remarks about BJ or Larry and the money and all that, Eric, bats it away and says, Larry loves BJ and BJ lives there, so just leave her alone. So he's defending BJ, he's defending Larry, because we don't know behind the scenes they got all this secret stuff going. And then the copper thing in the beginning of August, and then there's a big falling out. Eric is talking behind Patrick's back with BJ. We didn't know this. So to us, it looks like, wow, overnight, there's a problem. And so, absolutely, Sunday, Eric has just gotten home to Georgia, just got home. And then he has to turn around and come back because there's a big problem with BJ. We're just learning. What? She got arrested? No, actually, she got arrested a month ago. So let's kind of recap. So he was gone with Robert Mass, but on August 31st, he stays an extra day in the Airbnb. And on July 31st, August 1st, Eric and BJ are talking on the phone in secret behind Patrick's back. Patrick gets mad. He shows the copper pictures to Eric. And somehow, just days later, BJ gets arrested for the copper. So Eric supposedly went home after the Robert Mass trial, communicating with BJ. He never told us that. We didn't hear about anything communicating with BJ until down here. This is the first thing we're hearing about BJ's arrest. That was way back here. This is the first thing that we're hearing, that BJ got arrested and that she's out, which happened way back here. He's just saying now that I don't even know BJ. We talked twice last week on the phone and we argued about money. Well, Eric, why don't you tell us? Because we have stuff from Patrick that shows that you were talking right here. And just like before, BJ, Larry, and Betty are not answering. Instead of now, they're not answering Patrick's calls. Now they're not answering Eric's calls, and Eric's mad. And so this day, Eric's supposed to go home for the day. But remember, BJ got arrested back here. A week later, she gets bailed out. So she gets arrested. Eric comes back with the Whitakers. During that time is this, when they're going to the movies and all that. So during all this, you guys, there was a lot going on behind the scenes. Because way back here, all right, when Eric's brother came, there was already heat on about the copper arrests. Now, so what we're not seeing none of this. We didn't hear none of this. So when Eric comes back for the few days after BJ gets out of jail, he comes back for 3 days, brings them to the movies, plays all nice with them, and then Sunday, still everything is fine. He runs back home to Georgia, everything fine. Monday morning, we're hearing this for the first time. This is August 26th. We're hearing about all this for the first time, when for at least a month, things have been going on behind the scenes. So, and you can see how everything just changes overnight. All of a sudden, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Timmy's getting a hat. Ray's getting a knee looked at. Everything's wonderful. And as you can see, everything's going great. And then, and this is where Eric came back for a couple days, bringing everybody everywhere, being real nice to everybody. And then he goes home. Remember, he brings them to the movies. These are those 3 days where he came back. BJ's out of jail. And he finally comes back, and he's only back for 3 days. This is what he does. Brings them, makes them, think he's all that. And so he's bringing them for haircuts. This is all. Everything's fine. Eric goes home. Oh, by the way, he's also teaching, in Eric's words, I'm teaching Timmy healthy eating habits. Yeah, with the potato chips and the sugary treats. So he's, and here it is. This is my last night, unfortunately, before I have to head back to Georgia. Okay, last night in the Airbnb. This is when the sugary treats, right? Well, he goes home to Georgia. He's home 1 day, okay? And there's a big problem. Big problem. Okay, he goes home that one day and he books those tickets for Douche and Robert Mass to come flying in from different states, California and Idaho. Books the tickets to see the Amish on the 3rd and the 4th. And he knows darn well he's got court. Later, he finds out court's on the 4th, so how could he forget that? Anyway, bam, overnight, Monday, there's a problem. This is the first that we hear about BJ. First, we hear about arrest. And this is what Eric puts up. And the thing about these posts, I don't know how to find the date on. I don't know. There's no way to find the date. But I know when it was because I have all them other things. But this is the date, August 26th. Big emergency. Rolls out these mug shots everywhere of BJ and says, "This was last week, guys." No, it wasn't. It was almost a month ago. "This morning we served BJ with an eviction notice, and I'm currently on my way to West Virginia to make sure Whitakers are taken care of because she got put in jail." See, right now there's nothing about abuse. Okay, he's going to rescue the Whitakers because BJ got arrested. Although the Whitakers are the ones that bailed her out a week later. So he comes back, showing everybody how nice he is to Timmy. He's getting a hold of adult protection here. BJ Whitaker served with a protection order roughly about 1 hour ago. She was served by state police, escorted off the premises. I'll update you later. So this is just like happening overnight. Like, what is going on here? In the meantime, he's trying to be nice and trying to get their favor to get those papers signed, okay? So the first we hear about anything are those posts that I first showed you. Now that he put those posts out, it's the crack of dawn Monday morning. He's going to head back to Odd, West Virginia because BJ got arrested. Like, wait, no, you know she was arrested almost a month ago. Or weeks ago. And you knew she's already been out. And you've been back and forth accordingly. So then we get to this video. This is the first we hear of anything. Yeah, I know you guys got a lot of questions, and I'm going to go over this video later. This is not the one I even want to go over. But this is the first thing that we heard. Again, it's August 26th. This is when they're all of a sudden, the first thing that we're hearing about anything. And of course, they kept using the video right there. Kept using her. From then on, it was her mugshot. Her mugshot. When just yesterday, you told everybody she's fine. So overnight, something happens. He says him and Patrick have been working on this for 24 hours to get BJ out of there. Okay, that was the 24 hours on Sunday he came home, apparently. So he does this video, explains to everybody why he's got to hop in the truck, and I'm going to go over this in another video. But also, he takes this other video. And this is the one that I'm just going to show you how ridiculous this of an emergency this is for Eric to be here. Because so far, they're just trickling in a little bit of... well, he's peppering in a little bit of there possibly could be abuse, but the reason he's got to rush back here, and I wrote the reasons down why he said this, okay? So this is the same day. This is September 2nd, I'm sorry. September 2nd, and this is the day that again, we're going to go over September 2nd, like I said. This is the evening that adult protection was there. We're going to listen to the reasons why adult protection has to be involved. He's just kind of alluding to abuse, but mostly he has to be rushed back here and have this Airbnb and all this other stuff because they need wills, they need burial plots, and Patrick has no walls and a broken leg. And that's how this starts. That's why he has to rush back. And he said he not only... Now remember, he's been gone since spring. He hasn't even been home. But he went home for one day and left his wife and her dad with... He just fell and broke some bones or something. But he had to leave because this was such an emergency. So he leaves the wife again and kid and the elderly dad who just fell and got hurt. But this is more of an emergency. To go back to the Whitakers and make sure that they have guardianship and wills in case something happens. Like, what? Anyway, listen to this.
We're going to do.
Now, he's got a lot of questions to answer. People are
We're gonna do this
confused.
live for you. I was hoping I wouldn't have to go back too much into it tonight after the events that happened earlier, but I think I'm going to have to go back through all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Patrick are here. We're in the same place. We're in separate rooms, so we could come on here and talk to you one-on-one. Got Timmy in the next room. He's watching his Five Nights at Freddy's. And Dwayne, I want to say thank you for Dwayne. This is like the third time he's been on here.
Absolutely appreciate it, man.
He reads the questions for us, guys, because we can't see them, so he'll be hopping on with it.
Now, like I said, from the minute this BJ problem happened, you got Dwayne here had to come in and start screening comments, and that's what he does. First, he was just screening comments, and then they figured out, hey, let's just only put up the comments that are not only good, but have money attached to them. So very quickly, they started only pinning comments that had dollars attached to it. All right, and they had to be good questions, that softball questions, you know what I mean? Because everyone's saying, wait a minute, what's going on? What about BJ? What? Eviction? What? Restraining order? So, yeah, everybody's confused. And so Dwayne is there to, Dwayne is not only there to, field the questions and sort out and make sure only things that follow this narrative, but supposedly Patrick is there to make this plan happen for Eric too, aren't you, Patrick?
And give us your questions as we take them. We're not going to be able to get to everybody's questions, and there might be some of these questions that have been asked out of us thousands of times that we say, not tonight. If you go, there's a frequently asked question that Dwayne created on the WhitakerFamily.com. If you go there, ages, mobile home,
what does that cost in the Whitakers?
Things that we get asked all the time, they're on there for people to see. Tonight's Q&A really is more about the events that happened today.
And that's when he was calling adult protection down to the house because Betty won't sign the papers. And they said, yeah, it was their idea to have Eric be the daddy. Go ahead.
I'm brokenhearted.
And that's another thing. I noticed he's only got like 3 or 4 emotions. He's either brokenhearted, or he's livid, and what else? There's the third one.
Devastated.
Oh, devastated. And he's devastated. Brokenhearted, devastated, or livid. This is like his 3 emotions. Go ahead. Sorry. Keep it.
I'm brokenhearted. Mm-hmm. I am absolutely devastated over what happened today.
Because she wouldn't sign the papers.
So, today I was supposed to be getting Betty. She's known about this for days. I was supposed to be picking up Betty this morning. And we were going to meet with the state. I had it set up to...
Gonna go meet with adult protection services. He's gonna say, because he had all these wonderful services for her. But you don't go to adult protection or child protection to get some cleaning and some help around the house. You go to social services for that. You go to the welfare or whatever, and you say, hey, they all got medical assistance, they all got insurance. Can we get some help in here so they can, get a caretaker maybe a couple times a week? That'd be great. You could do that over the phone. But instead, he goes to adult protection, which is just like child protection. Who goes to adult protection or child protection to get some caretakers? You know what I mean?
I was supposed to be picking up Betty this morning. And we were going to meet with the state. I had it set up to where they was going to be getting her one of many things we were going to be taking care of, guys.
One of many things that nobody asked him for. This was all his idea, like he's some type of licensed social worker who can evaluate the needs of this family. But Eric's decided that they need all these following things. Go ahead.
Getting her a caretaker that will come to the house, help bathe and clean and do, health needs, the whole 9 yards with Ray, Lorraine, and Timmy.
Okay, so Eric wants a complete stranger to come in and start bathing Ray, Lorraine, and Timmy when none of them seem like they're in need of a bath. I mean, no more than any other person. They have no in fact, Eric said that, remember Eric even admired how Betty had to wash Lorraine in the tub all the time and how she had to bend over and wash her in the tub all the time. You could have just got a nozzle with the handle on it, you know what I mean, and with a sprayer and whatever. But Anyway, out of Eric's own mouth, he said that he admired how much he took care and washed everybody. Now all of a sudden he wants strangers to come in that nobody knows and start bathing these people. Why does Timmy need to be bathed? Just weird. So anyway, this is the big emergency. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. So anyway, so this is the big emergency. This is why adult protection and everything, the state has to come in so he can force these people to be bathed by strangers. Go ahead.
Clean our house, do our clothes, yard work, stay with the family while.
Okay, and nobody's asking for this. So he's determined that Betty needs help when they have so many family members that we never see on camera. I just saw a video where Mark was, I think it was a cemetery video, but Mark was talking to Betty, and Betty's friend just gave her, I don't know, something for her birthday, some big surprise and stuff. They got friends, they got family that we never hear about on these videos.
Clean our house, do our clothes, yard work, stay with the family.
And by the way, how many times have I mentioned there's not one video ever or a Google image that doesn't show the clotheslines outside loaded with clean clothes being washed constantly every day. So anyway, nobody's asking him for this. He's pushing this on the family. And sure, it'd be great, if she could get some help. Maybe they can come and get a housekeeper or something, I'm sure the insurance would give them something. And but you could have just picked up the phone and called social services. But instead you got the authorities down there for this. Forcing the stuff that they probably have to, most of they don't even need. Yard work. Okay, adult protection's getting involved so they can do some yard work. And stay with the family. Are you kidding? This family's never alone. Even one time when there was, I don't know, something going on. When Patrick broke his leg, Eric said, oh gosh, I thought, who's down there with Ray and Lorraine? So he goes, rushes down there and he finds out Kenny's been there all day taking care of them because I think Eric had everybody, whatever. But there's never a time where these family needs Eric and the authorities to step in while somebody goes to the store. It's ridiculous. They've never had a problem. BJ's there. Like it or not, she's there. They've never had a problem going to the store and not having somebody to watch somebody. It's ridiculous. Out of their own mouth, you said you're impressed that, wow, we thought they'd be alone. You came back to there's Kenny there. They're always watching out for each other. People should have learned this at least by now. They don't need Eric.
Betty goes to town. She was going to have that caretaker, and it was going to be of no cost to her. And that was one of many things. I got visited by, I had to be careful here.
Yeah, he has to be careful here. Because he's about to tell you that again. Just like my last video, again, he's going to tell you that it was all the Adult Protection Agency to adopt or, get guardianship of Timmy. They're so impressed with Eric, this guy from Georgia who does YouTube videos. They're so impressed because, remember, they're big fans. They watch his videos. And as soon as Eric calls, they come running. He buys them lunch and pays for their gas. So he's real tight, I guess, with this adult protection, right? So, anyway, go ahead. No cost to her. And like I said, this could have been done through social services.
I got visited by, I had to be careful here.
Be careful.
Another thing is I had gotten asked about guardianship with Timmy. Right now, if something happens with Betty or Larry and Lorraine, Timmy would be going to a home, guys.
And again, says who? Now, this is what I really want to point out. There's a couple of things I want to point out here. Now, why would Larry, Betty, and Lorraine all die at once? And why does this have to be done today by state authorities who are going to be taking them away? Why does all this guardianship have to be done today? And it is so strange that you're so concerned about their guardianship, and what about all the other people? Because if just say Lorraine and Betty and Larry get on an airplane, and the airplane goes down, and they all perish at once. Would Timmy go to an orphanage? No, he wouldn't. Because if you look at Mark's videos, for one, BJ was there. Okay, BJ lives there. And like it or not, she has every right to have guardianship over her cousin or whatever. She's there. Also Kenny. Why wouldn't Kenny be the guardian? All these people have known Timmy his whole life. And there's friends of the family who have known them their whole life. They could step in. There is those cousins, those other people in the videos of Mark's, constantly family members all over the place. You won't see them in Patrick and Eric's video. You'll never see a family member around. You'll only see just Timmy and Lorraine. You'll just see the handful. But in Mark's video, that's more realistic. Mark's goes over there. There's tons of family everywhere. They're sitting on the porch. Betty's hanging on to a little baby less than a year old. They're a big family, tons of people. So no, if something happened all at once by the end of the week to Betty, Larry, and Lorraine, no, Timmy would not go to a home. It's ridiculous. Nobody has needed Eric. And I just saw obituaries for the Whitakers at that cemetery. These people have been around since the 1800s. So they've been around for 100 years. And they've never, ever needed Eric Carroll to come and do all this. And all of a sudden, Timmy's going to be an orphan. So Patrick and Eric have to step in before that happens. And it's got to be in the next 4 days because Eric is leaving with Timmy coincidentally in 4 days. So this has to happen about all these papers. Go ahead, Eric. Keep talking.
With Lorraine and Ray. And I can tell you this. I know Mr. Patrick right there, Bama, as Timmy calls him, loves that kid just as much as I do. We're not going to see him getting taken away. There's no way.
Which they did about 6 days later. But Patrick, you're going along with this too. Now, Patrick, I've got a question for you. You've supposedly lived by the Whitakers their whole life or known them their whole life. Do you think this is really an emergency to get all these papers signed today? Guardianship in case everybody dies and all this other stuff by the end of the week. And that's a question for Patrick. Now, Eric, I have a question for you. Are you doing this for your own family? Are you filling out guardianship and all this stuff in case, God forbid, something happens to you and your wife and her parents and your parents and your brother and everybody that could possibly take care of your kids? If something happens to them, do you have a YouTuber that will take guardianship of them? Do you have all these preparations made for your own family, or is this just only important for the Whitakers and it has to be done today? I would like to see that. I would like to see all these guardianship and trust funds and all this stuff for your own kid and your own family, especially when you yourself, claim to be this high-risk profession of a YouTuber that you compared yourself to Charlie Kirk, and you said you were the same thing, and same thing might happen to you. So if you're living this high-risk YouTuber lifestyle that you compare yourself to Charlie Kirk, then how come you don't have all these things in place? Do you? I'm just curious. Do you have guardianships in case everybody in the family, something happens to them for your own kids? I mean, are you doing the same thing for your family that you are pushing so hard for the Whitakers? I bet not. But
that's not saying that.
And yes, you did.
Bama, as Timmy calls him.
You made damn sure that them Whitakers were hauled away 6 days from now.
That kid just as much as I do. We're not going to see him getting taken away.
You made sure they did. You made sure. And you helped, Patrick. You helped.
We would want to get Timmy now. Betty's been letting him hang out with us. This would be in case something happens to Betty or Lorraine or Larry?
He doesn't want it now, but he's taking Timmy out of state to back to Georgia for weeks on end. That's the plan. In 4 days. That's not saying that we would want
to get Timmy now. Betty's been letting him hang out.
Doesn't mean we want to get Timmy now, but you're planning on co-parenting with. None of this makes sense, does it? If you're not planning on getting him now, and this is in the future in case everybody dies, which nobody's asking you to do any of this, but just in case in the future, then why do you have to have it today, September 2nd? 3-4 days before you leave town with Timmy, coincidentally.
This would be in case something happens to Betty or Lorraine or Larry, that before Timmy got sent off somewhere, he would come and Patrick and I would take turns taking care of him. I will gladly do that.
Taking care.
Something me and Patrick talked about.
Something that you and Patrick have talked about, huh, Patrick? You've been planning this with him, huh? To take guardianship, print out T-shirts, 2 Timmys and a dad. No, 2 dads and a Timmy, whatever it was. Yeah, 2 dads and a Timmy. You're going to print T-shirts and everything, so you were planning this too, Patrick, so don't play dumb.
Times over the last couple of weeks, but we had talked about it, but they brought me the paperwork and was actually presenting it to me the other day.
Wow.
Asking me if I would take guardianship, and I told them I would, as long as...
Asking Eric if he would take guardianship. That's 2 times in this video, and another time I showed you a different time. That's 3 different times that he said adult protection is asking Eric. They're asking him if he would take guardianship. It's all their idea. Wow, that's a weird adult protection agency down there. They're doing things I've never seen before.
Last couple of weeks. But we had talked about it, but they brought me the paperwork and was actually presenting it to me the other day.
Wow.
Asking me if I would take guardianship, and I told them I would, as long as I could do co with Patrick. But they're also needing someone. There's no guardianship for Ray, Lorraine, or Timmy. And then I was talking to Betty the other day. Betty's family is buried there in Virginia. I asked her, I said, Betty, if you was to die, like, you want to be buried there? Yes. I was like, do you have that set up anywhere? No. Is there anybody there to, carry out your advance directive? Or she doesn't have any of that, guys. There's none of that set up.
Okay, Eric, again, another question. Do you have all these burial plots and everything for all your family members, or are you just pushing it on the Whitakers? Because the Whitakers don't need it, Eric. Like I said, you're awfully concerned about the Whitakers. Are you doing all these same safeguards for your family? Or is it just for them and you need it done today? Now, a year ago, it looked like, with Soft White Underbelly, Mark put out this video about the Whitaker family cemetery. They're all in a cemetery and they got all there just fine without any help from Eric. And to me, it is heartbreaking to see these videos because they were all happy. Mark brought them out to the cemetery to see where their family was buried. And I got to tell you, I don't have my whole family in one cemetery. And, some people were cremated. And, I don't think even more than a couple are in one cemetery. But they've got this covered. Okay, they're all got burial places here. And there's people, like I said, you look at these headstones, there's Whitakers from the 1800s. They all end up there just fine without any help from Eric. And again, we talk about the most logical person for guardianship for Timmy would be Kenny. Kenny here. This is Larry's brother. I'm pretty sure they're brothers, yeah. And they're about the same age. But anyway, Kenny would be the more logical person to take guardianship. If Timmy needed a guardianship, Kenny lives just right up the road, real close. So not only him, BJ, anyway, there's many other people, family members, tons of family members that would step up and help Timmy. He's not going to go to a home or orphanage. And it doesn't have to be signed today. You know what I mean? I'm looking at even Ray is checking out the graves. None of these people are stupid, and they don't need your help. And again, Eric, you got all this preparations done for your family? Like you say the Whitakers have to do, like today, now? And if you don't do it today, if Betty doesn't get the burial plots and the Social Security cards and all that stuff today, you're going to be livid? Like, how does that make any sense? Like I said, I'd love to see all these preparations you've done for your own family. I bet you haven't. But somehow it's, life or death for the Whitakers.
Today, Betty's family is buried there in Virginia. I asked her, I said, Betty, if you was to die, like, you want to be buried there? Yes. I was like, do you have that set up anywhere? No. Is there anybody there to, carry out your advance directive? Or she doesn't have any of that, guys. There's none of that set up.
Do you, Eric?
They were also, and they're in the process of getting the birth certificates, Social Security cards, and IDs as we speak.
Right, because it's Tuesday and you got to leave with Timmy on Saturday. So in 4 days, you need Timmy's Social Security card, you need his birth certificate, and you need his ID, and you need those guardianship papers signed today. You're leaving for town tomorrow, out of town with your buddies the next couple days.
They've already been ordered. So there was a lot of good that was supposed to be going on. But I was supposed to be picking up Betty for her to go with me at 11:30.
And sign the papers.
This has been planned now for several days.
No, it hasn't. Because this is Monday or Tuesday, and as of Sunday, you told us everything was fine. So how was it planned for days? Yesterday, you sprung it on us that BJ got evicted. She got arrested, she got evicted, and she's getting a restraining order. We just all heard about this yesterday. But somehow, Eric and Betty and everybody's been planning this for days. So maybe they were behind the scenes.
And
who knows?
if you see the trolls in the comments, because I know they're there, you know who that is. We had to evict somebody. Okay? We had to evict somebody and get people out of there that was abusing Timmy, that was abusing Betty, that was abusing their own dad. Okay?
And for these people who are saying Patrick never went along with the story of abuse, well, here it is right here. I showed you in yesterday's video that Patrick now claims there's never abuse. Eric made up the whole thing. He charged all the conversation to make it look like BJ was beating everybody. And he says BJ was the fall guy. She was set up and never abused anybody. Yet here he is on September 2nd, allowing Eric to let everybody think that she's abusing everybody. BJ's abusing Timmy. She's abusing Betty. And even her own dad. And Patrick sits there and says nothing. And this is also the video where they've already set up a signal. Dwayne here, this is his third live. He's trying to control the narrative over here in the questioning. And this is the video where Patrick puts the glasses down when they ask him about the drones. And that's the signal to move on. So anyway, Patrick, you're very compliant. People think Patrick's not compliant. What's this? What's this supposed to be? Anyway, we're going to finish this up.
I found out new details today, too, you guys.
New details today.
And last night.
One
of BJ's.
Because this all came about yesterday. So as of yesterday, he found this out. And new stuff today. But as of 3 days ago, he told us everything was fine. But just last 24, 48 hours, they're finding out all this abuse stuff. Go ahead.
Former boyfriend was actually beaten on Ray.
Okay. One of BJ's former boyfriends, which was probably years ago, right, was beating on Ray. And what happened when the boyfriend beat on Ray?
And last night.
Did they turn a blind eye?
BJ's former boyfriend was actually beaten on Ray.
And what happened?
Why he had to get out of there.
That's why he had to get out of there. And we heard the story. A long time ago, years ago, BJ had a boyfriend, and BJ's boyfriend started hitting on Ray, and Larry pulled out a weapon and chased him off the property, and that boyfriend never came back. So does this sound like a family that's turning a blind eye when somebody gets hurt? No. He's proven his against his own self. He's disproving his own case. Anybody that comes there gets chased off. As a matter of fact, did you know that when Mark first came over there, Jason Whitaker pulled a gun on him? Yeah, he did. And he said, "Who the hell are you?" And Mark had some splaining to do, but they laugh about it now. But anybody who messes with the Whitakers, they take care of their own. Yeah, more details. Now this is supposed to be today's emergency. This is supposed to be why you have to call the police and all the professionals and the state in and adult protection. Call them all in, because BJ had an old boyfriend one time who hit Ray and got chased off forever. So what? Why is that emergency?
Beating on Ray. That was why he
former
had to get out
boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing earlier today, another boyfriend of hers. Betty tells us one day, want to say,
no, this is another boyfriend. So how many years ago was this? 10, 15?
On top of Timmy, pounding him on the ground. This is not the first time that he's been abused or that the family's been abused, guys.
And you know what he says? If you back this up, whenever you listen to this video, he will say, Eric says that he's hearing from family members about all this abuse. But he's very vague. He won't tell you what family members. Eric, what family members are telling you that all BJ's old boyfriends used to beat up Timmy and Ray? What family members of the Whitaker are confiding in you, the outsider from Georgia who's done nothing but torment the family? Which one of those Whitakers are confiding you all these old boyfriends beating up Timmy? And this was years ago, so how does this justify adult protection coming rushing in, strapping everybody down to stretchers and hauling them away in ambulances if this happened years ago?
This is not the first time.
This is the emergency. Big emergency. Get them papers.
Oh, that was a simple life. They were better off before this came in there.
Damn right they were.
Sure? Have you seen the pictures? Their lives have drastically improved.
And that's the story he's sticking with. No, I'm going to tell you, I have seen the pictures. And if I knew how to do it, because I don't know how to do computer stuff, but if I knew how to do it, I would pull up. And I know somebody that knows how. I should ask her. I could do a pull-up side-by-side comparison of what Betty Whitaker looked like 6 months ago and what she looks like today. She's aged about 20 years. And you pull up Larry's picture from 6 months ago when you first met him, and what he looks like today. He's also aged a decade or two. Pull up all their pictures. This is what they're claiming. They've done nothing but good. But anyway, this was also September 2nd. I just wanted to show you how this crept in. It's overnight, this big emergency. One day everything's fine. Next day, BJ's arrested. She's, all these things, problem with BJ overnight. But little did we know, there's been sneaky things going on behind the scenes. He told you he doesn't know BJ. Just talked to her last week, arguing about money. But not according to you, Patrick. You showed texts and all this other stuff that Eric and BJ has been talking for a month behind the scenes secretly. And you were mad about it too, weren't you, Patrick? Anyway, thanks for listening. I know this is a long one. I try not to make them long, but in order to get all this out, I got to do that. So anyway, thanks for listening, and peace.